Awesome. So I don't need
You
to
gotta
say it.
unbottle me with your magic unbottly thing.
You don't have an unbodily thing?
I don't have one because I never unbottle things.
Well, you work for the unbodily company.
Unbottly. You work for the unbottly company.
The unbodily.
And with that said, welcome back to the Sketchbook Heroes podcast with me, Ilias.
And me, unbodily.
Unbottly Robert.
Yeah, sorry, Robert.
So, yeah.
Hello.
We've seen something really good and something really bad in just a matter of hours. And today we're going to be talking about stuff.
I guess.
Not mentally here right now.
So good.
But creating with reference, I guess, or from reference is what we're going to talk about today, because it is still one of those things that people are like, should I use reference? You should use reference. You know, like,
What
it's
is
always,
reference?
what is reference? How should you use it? Should you use it? Should you not use it? Whatever your questions are.
We are here for you.
We're here for you.
We are here for you. This is gonna be great.
It's
Yeah.
good.
So,
Accents are
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. I am the master of those. Everybody knows.
Dude, all I have in my head is like, I am looking for a man who calls himself Pucho.
El Pucho. Oh man, I missed that movie.
That movie was awesome. Like, it was epic at the time. Whoever can figure out what it was, you're awesome.
Kudos.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So today's topic.
Yeah. Let's cut all that out. And then today's topic is going to be creating from reference.
Yes. And also diving into the latest episodes of Invincible and Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have anything on tools?
On tools, I want to talk about this new social media app that is just aimed for artists called Artful.
Boo.
Mm-hmm, but it doesn't have
yeah.
likes and anything, or you can't see people's followers and anything.
So what's the point?
you
We'll
can-
get into that
Yes.
later.
Later.
Awesome. Awesome. How's your week been?
Drunk. No, just kidding. No, that's right now.
That's only now. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is good. Weekend has been good. Just been doing stuff around the house. So nothing like awesome to share. Also, I tried creating, but then I didn't feel like it, so I didn't, do it.
What was the try?
The try was I sat down and I did some sketching, and then I was like, I don't want to do this. And then I didn't do it. And I didn't feel bad about it.
But did you sketch for like
No.
a burning thing, or did you sketch for just sketching? Or did you
I
sketch...
actually brought out gouache and I
Ooh,
painted.
What?
And I guess I paint sketched.
Do you want to talk about that in the toolies?
No, because I did nothing. Like,
Alright.
I just splashed some colors around, tried a couple of different types of paper. Then as soon as the paper got all wavy, I was like, I hate this shit.
Well, that's like 5 seconds in.
I know. And that is such a turn-off for me, art-wise.
Fantastic.
I hate when the paper gets all...
So a turn off for you is when something gets wet.
No,
Fantastic.
when it gets wobbly is when. And with that said, moving on. How was your weekend?
Not as bad as yours, I think. Dude, I'm like blushing. That was so bad.
That was bad.
Yeah.
Even me, not very drunk, but a little drunk, thought that was weird.
Well, with the amount of alcohol you normally consume, I'd say you are probably drunk right now. So this is going to be a great one.
Mm-hmm.
This week has been like, I've been so tired this whole week, but mainly because I got tattooed on Wednesday.
Last week.
Well, this week, like the week prior to this
Episode.
session.
Yeah. So last week.
So last week. Yes.
Nothing has changed. It's the last week.
No, but normally, like, I don't get really tired easily. I stay up until, like, at least 12, and, it's not an issue, but now around 9 or 10, I am dead. Like, I'm so dead. So I don't think I actually realized how much the tattoo took out of me energy.
But it's a big one, right? Like it's the whole chest.
Yeah, the
sort of
whole
area,
chest.
Shoulder, chest.
So
yes.
it's my complete left chest area. I have the whole process on IGTV on the Tattoos by Rob Instagram if you want to see it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Shit, I missed it. I was gonna ask like if you had anything
but
from.
unfortunately, it's not available for everybody because it does have like the music playing in the background makes it like
depending on countries, yeah.
Exactly. So try it out if you can see it, then watch it. Otherwise, maybe you won't be able to hear the noise, or maybe it's not even available. I don't know. But I did record it like a live session just because I know how many of my clients wanted to see me suffer. So I did like a live thing and then just saved it as an IGTV, so I had it. But that was on Wednesday, and pretty much every day since then has been a living hell because of healing, itching, having to maintain and washing and all of this. And
It's a big area as well, yeah.
yes, and it's so much black. Like, you haven't really seen it. Like, I can show you a sneak.
Ooh, getting some booby action here.
But
Oh shit, yeah.
so it's like it's just massively black and then a little bit of
Yeah.
non-black.
Yeah, just some areas left out.
So it's I was slaughtered. Like, my whole collarbone was blue the day after because
Damn.
of Nelson just going to town over it, and it's just skin over bone, and it's like, it was so horrible. And then, I still need to go back to finish it and then complete the whole thing, which is the middle of the chest, the sternum, and that is, well, I don't know if you can hear
Also
it.
bone. Yeah, but that's on everyone. Has, like, it's just bone there, yeah.
So the worst part of this tattoo was the collarbone. The next part is just gonna be all that.
Yeah, just
Like,
bone.
just bone.
Oh.
So I am actually like super nervous, really terrified about this part. And Nelson has told me like, you should get numbing cream. You should definitely just do it. And I just say no. Like,
You want to feel that pain.
I need to know what this feels like.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Very cool.
But apart from that, I've just been working. So
Yeah, how's that been? Like the tattooing and the.
the day after was horrible, to be honest.
Oh.
I woke
Yeah.
up feeling almost hungover, having not had anything to drink or anything like that, but just like so drained of energy. I fell asleep at maybe 9 o'clock. Like, I literally passed out. Just went home, had food,
Yeah.
and then was like, poof, out. Like, I was so drained. I remember walking home from the shop. We finished at maybe like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I have like a 15-minute walk from the shop to the train station, and then I go home. That 15-minute walk was like me going home, staggering home from like, drunken stupor at 3 o'clock at night. I was like wobbling all over the place. I was so weak. Seriously, I was like, I couldn't focus my eyes.
Yeah.
I was so close to passing out so many times.
But
like,
did you work before as well? So
no,
you did. Like,
no.
Okay, it
I
was-
took the day off just to get the tattoo. We started at maybe 12 o'clock. Like, seriously, one of my sessions, like what I would put somebody through, which is the whole thing of this is, and also why I don't take the numbing cream or anything. It's like, I want to
But
experience.
do people do that? I didn't even
Yeah.
know that was a thing for tattooing.
No, it is a thing. And you can
But
get.
was it always a thing? Or has it become more
for,
like okay?
For people that know about numbing cream, that is a thing.
Okay.
But I would never recommend it. Not because I want to be an asshole,
No,
but
but you want them
because
to feel the burn.
feel the burn. Yes, exactly. Yes. But sometimes when you take too much of the numbing cream, you can like, it almost makes the skin like like mushy, almost like a sponge, like spongy in a way.
Okay.
So it doesn't make it easier to tattoo in that way. So it depends on sort of what you're doing. But no, I would never recommend it because it's part of the process too. Like getting through that pain. Of course, it depends on where you're getting the tattoo. For me, having been tattooed pretty much, every year since I turned 18, at least, I feel like I know what it feels like to get tattooed. So now, me not taking numbing cream is more like a tribute to everybody else. Like I'm just doing it to sort of sympathize with everybody that I am putting through that hell.
Okay,
You know what I mean? But because I do put so many people through that hell, I feel I deserve that pain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but that's also a part of me being that tattoo artist. I could be the Nelson who really just does the numbing cream all over, because he's also tattooing his chest at the moment. And he's like, fuck no, like I'm not in a million years. Like I would never go in without numbing cream now. So it's, yeah.
You're weak, Nelson.
Yeah. Yes. Probably because he's also gotten a chest tattoo, got it lasered, and now getting another chest tattoo. So I think he's okay with the numbing cream now.
Getting a chest tattoo. I'm just seeing someone tattooing a chest on your chest. Just like chest tattoo, bro.
Exactly. Make sure to get those veins in, Wolverine style.
Ripped chest.
Yes.
tattoo.
Oh my god. Oh, that's horrible.
Oh man, there's got to be people that just tattooed abs or something.
I've seen that.
Oh, okay.
I saw, and this is one of the worst and best tattoos that I've ever seen in my entire life. Bondi Beach, Sydney, Australia. I'm just cruising down the street. I'm super hungover. I remember this. And I see this like nice, 6-man group of people coming up from the beach, having been there all day. And then the last guy coming up is like this really overweight dude who is like the comic relief of the group. And he has the shittiest tattoo on his stomach, which is a 6-pack. Like if you drew it on with a Sharpie, but
Like
it's actually...
Like abs or an actual 6-pack of beers?
No, like abs.
Abs. Okay.
Like if you drew an arch with lines through it. Yeah. He had that.
Oh man, I so hope that was a Sharpie.
It's not a Sharpie. I saw
Okay.
it. Yeah, again, the worst and best tattoo I've ever seen. So if you're listening, big dude, I'm so sorry, but thank you.
That is very good.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like apart from me getting the tattoo, sorry, big ass long tangent. It really, like, I don't want to milk this in any way, but seriously, it does take so much out of you. I'd totally forgotten how much it drains you from energy.
But also, like, depends on the area, right? Like, how much, like, because the chest is such a big part of your, like
it's always moving.
Yeah.
It's always there. So whatever I am doing, it's always...
Yeah, because I feel like if you have it on your arm, like the arm doesn't do any... Like, you can't bend the... like, if
you're still going to feel it, of course.
Of course, but I mean, the chest is moving... When you move your arm, you're extending and compressing your...
Whenever you're breathing. Like, it just constantly moves.
Yeah.
But it's also the... I'm not a big, hairy guy, but... Shaving that part of the chest and having that grow back, it just itches like crazy, and then you want to itch it. As soon as you touch it, it hurts like hell. So it's almost like having this massive burn on your chest. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, when it's itchy.
Because it's such a big area as well. Like it really feels like somebody took like a frying iron and just placed it on my chest for a minute. Like it's just it's horrible. But now it feels good. Like this is almost a week later. And apart from that, really haven't done anything. We did, this weekend was fantabulous when it came to weather.
Dude, yes.
So good. I worked Saturday, so I didn't do anything. But Sunday we went just did like a little forest hike, I guess, and then ended up in this stable type area where like a lot of horses, and they had goats and sheep and llamas and like
Sounds
all
like
bunch
one of those,
things.
like, I think in Sweden they're called like 4-H yards or, whatever, like farms.
That's beyond me. I don't know.
But that's like open to the public, so you can
Yeah,
go there
yeah,
and see
yeah.
all the. So it's probably what you went to.
Yeah, we did that. We brought some coffee and like snacks and stuff and just sort of made a day out of it. It was actually really, really nice. It feels like, I don't know, anything you do nowadays feels so extremely special because you feel like you're not allowed to do anything.
Yeah, definitely. It's so nice to do stuff like that as well.
Exactly. And that's not something I normally do. So, just fantastic to even just walk in the woods and enjoy the sun and the heat for once. Like no snow, no rain.
Yeah,
We're back towards like spring.
Spring,
Yeah.
spring is back again.
Again.
Third time's a charm.
But yeah, so that was it.
They were talking about snow this weekend, so we'll see.
Of course they were. Yeah.
But yeah, with that said, though, thank you for listening again. For some reason,
Always. Like
exactly, because this like the Corona year has been like, I don't know, it's been hard to podcast during this thing because nothing has happened.
over a year, bro.
But if you want to hang with cool people that listen to this show and sort of connect with other sketchbook heroes, you should check out the Discordo. And you can find the link on the
Sketchbook Heroes Instagram.
Cool.
Nice. Not rehearsed.
Of course,
But
we've been practicing for this
No, but
our
yeah.
whole life.
No, but you can find the link at the Sketchbook Heroes Instagram and
Before we move on, actually, straight from Peru. It's not French. It's Peru.
What are you talking about? Aren't they French?
We got I just saw it today, but camx.I on Instagram. Hi, I'm from Peru, and I just want to say that I really love your podcast. I had an artistic block for about a month, and was so frustrated that I didn't want to do anything. Your podcast motivated me to try new things while I was hearing you too. I really enjoy it at the point that I start to sing the podcast intro while I'm doing whatever I want. Ha 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 ha. Thank you so much for the fun. You two are a good influence to a lot of artists around the world like me, so keep doing what you do. Thank you, CamXI.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much. Really, those messages are always super heartwarming for two guys being drunk in a room talking shit.
And really surreal.
Yeah.
We don't...
Always.
I can't... Yeah. My brain just can't process that is a real thing. And then I just wanted to read something that I got. This is from Diana Pittman.
Yeah, Diana.
And she's writing me https /i.facebook.com/iphp (u equal HTT. I'm assuming this is a link for some sort of naughty thing. Yeah.
Just spam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Diana Pittman. I am absolutely 100% sure that is your real name.
And we really appreciate you for
your love
and sharing your link with us.
And with that said, here goes the fucking intro. Intro, go! Jesus Christ, save me, please.
Diana Pittman.
Artists of the world unite. Step out of your comfort zone into the danger zone.
I'm sorry.
It was great.
Yeah.
And now we're back. And we're going to talk about creating from reference. And this is by no means a tutorial, but it is two drunk guys telling you something reference.
Something reference.
Something about reference.
And we've already done the two drunk guys saying reference.
Reference,
Yes,
reference.
yes. And I'm already hearing myself saying like...
No, but I can't believe
Oh
that
my
to
God.
this day, there is talk about reference. You know, like, should I use it?
Is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? What is it? Yeah.
How is it? No. How do you
Yeah.
say it?
Yes.
How do you pronounce the word? No. But seriously, reference will always be another tool. You know.
Yeah. Just like pulling from one of our really awesome guests that we had, Loftlinen, just shouted out her reference today. Anyways, I saw that she's working on a graphic novel or a comic of some sort, but she referenced, yes, exactly. Ilyas is looking it up straight away.
Because we're not filming, I can do this.
But she gave a shout out to the reference for the background that she used. Like, and I thought that was so nice. Like,
Yeah.
and I think she's utilizing a photo reference and then drawing from that and making that into a thing. It's just amazing. And it looks awesome, by the way. Like the whole comic strip that she posted looked amazing. So I can't wait to see the full published thing. And I'm really hoping that that is something that I can buy and actually like help.
Dude, always.
Yes. Just.
Yeah. And I see a lot of the reference used as well on, you know, a lot of like art that stands out on Instagram, you know, the algorithm favorites.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff that I have saved on Pinterest. You know what I mean? Like it is actual photos.
Oh, but dude, tell me about it.
Dude, there are so many photos there that are used, you know, even if they're drawn in your style, you still like it's so heavy. Like it's so sort of like it's reference heavy. You can see the reference in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you should definitely tag it.
But imagine you being me and seeing the same reference sent to you over and over, being
definitely.
like, I want this tattoo. I want this
oh my
tattoo.
God, that's why I would never be a tattoo artist.
You're like, okay, how many times can I redraw this thing to make it look sort of similar but new?
New, yeah.
You do that one time and you feel like, fuck yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then you get that the next time.
The
and
next
like,
time again, yeah.
It's already a big problem. And then you get that the fourth, fifth time.
Yeah.
Because seriously, Pinterest is really dangerous that way. It really just
But it's like Google
shows
as well,
you the
you know.
same fucking thing.
But so does Google. You know, when
Yeah.
you search for like, you know, let's say whatever the fuck, beautiful girl, or you know, whatever, like beautiful portraits or whatever the fuck, everyone's looking at the same type of reference.
Yeah.
So we're all ending up drawing the same thing, you know. Sure, it's in our own style, but it is still the same thing.
Yeah.
And I guess that when thinking about reference as well, like should I tag the reference people? It only depends. Like, are you using reference to assist in your work, or are you using the reference so heavily that you can actually tell what reference you used?
Or like plagiarizing the artist.
But it's basically it's not plagiarizing. But for example, like a good example is draw this in your style.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't do that challenge and not tag the person that I drew the art from.
Well, that is
in essence what we're doing. Yeah,
Exactly.
you're drawing from reference.
Yeah.
Sure, you're drawing it in your style, but you're still using someone else's thing. You know.
Yeah.
That you're drawing from.
I mean,
So
that
think
is the perfect metaphor for drawing
life,
from
and
reference.
that's the end of this show.
There you go. Yes. Dude, I still have another beer to go. So
I only have. This is my last one, so I'll just sip it slowly.
Sip it.
Sip it.
Yeah. Sip it.
But I think like reference is a tool. You can use it a lot and you can use it very little. Like I use images for color reference. You know what I mean? Like I want this type of lighting.
Yeah.
And it's coming from the right side as well, so it fits my image. I'll use that lighting as reference. You know, like you can use reference in so many ways. That is sound reference for my ears being ripped apart. I don't know. It sounded super loud in my ears.
Sorry, everybody. I hope that wasn't too loud.
It probably isn't. But just like you can use, reference just for the inspiration or just for the believability of something, but you don't actually draw what you're seeing, in terms of what the photo depicts. You're just like, I just need to understand how trees work, or how flower petals work.
Yeah.
It also happens like when I don't know how to draw something, I'll draw it over and over and try to understand, like what makes it.
Yeah.
So that really does help.
But that's the big difference between you and me, because I don't do that. Like, I don't put that time and effort in to doing something like that. I look at the reference and then I draw it my way.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to be able to reproduce it on occasion, like when I want to without the reference as well. So it really does help to understand. Like, I can't draw everything from imagination, but just doing it a couple of times, you start like, this thing, Then you can add more complexity. You'll simplify it, and then But yeah.
But all right. So let's, because I am definitely going to be derailing the fuck out of this episode.
But before we do that, no, we're doing.
We've already done it. No. I don't know what I want to say.
Did I cut you off for the first time ever and really threw you off?
Maybe. Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't. There's no script in my head, so there's no cutting off. In my head, if we talk reference, it's always an image that I just copy.
Yeah, not for me.
That's the big thing here.
Yeah.
So, all right, break it down. What, for you?
For me, reference is just, a way to make something look believable. Like, I base it in something, Like, if I'm going to draw a lot of machines and, stuff, I'll just look up a lot of machines and stuff. And then, use a lot of different reference to make one thing.
Yeah.
And you'll never be able to tell where I got the inspiration from.
No.
Like, most of the times, you just won't be able to tell because I don't use one source. Sometimes it might be images that look fairly alike. Sometimes it's like, this stuff, Egyptian or something, like Chinese this combined with something that is just, that's a computer. Like, that's an old computer from the 90s, And then I'll combine those two. So for me, I never use reference. I don't remember the last time I drew something straight off its reference, like just the way that it is.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't do that. It's not in my, like...
And that for me is the total opposite, because I am recreating scenes from a movie, mostly. So I'm taking stills from a movie because they are iconic. And as soon as you see that image of that face in that expression, if you know the movie, you will remember that scene. And that will evoke emotion, and that will evoke whatever it is. So for me, it's the total opposite. I need to recreate that exact photo as accurate as I can.
Because everyone's sharing that image in their head. Yeah,
so I can't,
what it is. Yeah.
Like, I can't make my own. Well, I could do that as well, but it wouldn't be the same effect as if I did that exact moment of the film. So it's really interesting that it's like utilizing reference in so very different ways. Of course, I utilize reference in the same way you do as well.
Like you have several, but
when it's something that it's not something directly from the movie, I just need this type of scenery, or I need this type of whatever. Then I just find a reference for that. Or with tattoos, it's a whole different story, because that way it works both ways. One way is the total super copy of something. I need a face, and it needs to be that face, 100%. And my mission is to try to make it as accurate as I can. Then we have the other one, which is I get a picture of a tattoo that is of a reference that I know, but the person wants it to be like the tattoo, but they want their own sort of tattoo. So how do I make that into like their own separate thing with using a reference that I know
The same
is
reference, yeah.
like
yeah,
this is
it's
so like Inception wise, it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh man, just
But
reinventing something that has been
Reinvented.
Yeah,
A billion times.
it's like a remake of a remake of a remake.
Yes, exactly that. It's like Halloween, pretty much, like the movie. Like it just keeps coming back, being the same movie but being a different movie. Like that's what I feel like I'm doing so many times. And how do I do that without feeling like a total sellout or hating myself or all of this? Well, for one, I get money. Yes, the other
Money
one
is good.
the other one is I will always try to tweak it. I will always try to make it just like the littlest thing. So for me with tattooing, I take the easy way out as much as I can. I cheat as much as possible with every way possible.
No, but I think you have to. Like, you got to get the job done.
Yeah.
Because there is only so much time you can put into something,
And with that said, it's cheating the stencil.
Yeah,
it's not
but of
cheating the
course.
tattoo.
The tattoo, you can't cheat it.
Exactly.
It's going to be the tattoo.
And that
like,
becomes the artwork.
I guess what you're saying is that you're cutting corners on the sketch phase to save it so you can put it into the tattoo phase, because that's like if you do a really good sketch but skim on that tattooing, it's going to be shit no matter how much time you spent on the sketch, like
Exactly.
the tattoo will be garbage.
Yeah. No, with the sketch phase, most of the time I don't need to do as much sketching as I actually do, but I do that because I need to show the client so they can like be calm and actually sit down in the chair.
Yeah.
If I didn't show them what I'm planning to do, they wouldn't sit down. I wouldn't be able to get their trust. So a lot of the work is just to really calm the person. Like most of the stuff I can just do like the really, really rough sketch and put that on, and I could just tattoo that, because that would be doing a rough sketch, placing that underneath a light table.
Yeah.
Or on top of a light table, I mean, and then tracing it. That is sort of tattooing. So in that sense, I am doing twice the work. Like, I'm putting a lot more work into it than I need to.
I don't know how you do it. Like, tattooing seems like such a weird job to have hours on. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much work for the one thing that you're going to do.
I never stop. I never stop working. Ever. Ever.
I don't want that.
And I don't know. My MOA has just started, and it's like seriously in the short amount of time that I've seen her progress of work, it's really looking good.
Yeah, that wolf was awesome.
All right, but yeah. So for me, when talking about reference, something that hit me today when we were having our burgers was like, it hadn't really occurred to me earlier, but even watching a movie and getting like the gist of a story is a reference in its own way. And that had never occurred to me before. So even just watching movies, like watching a lot of movies, which is pretty much the only thing I do, that is giving me reference for, well, because now I am writing stories. I'm creating my own stories. That is a reference point equal to going into Pinterest and looking for images for whatever tattoo I'm doing, or if I'm doing a poster or whatever the fuck we're doing. It's never occurred to me before, which is insane. But it's so, like, as soon as that hit me, it's just like, it's so obvious in a way. Like, okay, yes, I am drunk right now.
This is Robert ranting. I'm not this drunk. He's had some strong beers today.
Oh my God, yes.
I've only had these.
I forgot the names of them. But
the styles.
Styles. Yeah. They were like 8%.
Dude, 8% beer.
I did not look at that. I just saw them and they were like very 80s type colored.
Yeah.
And IPAs, and I'm like, I don't like IPAs, but I like those colors, like that color scheme, yes. And then 8%,
And you've had how many of those?
2 of those.
2 of those.
Yeah.
And then how many normal ones?
Just 4 other ones.
Just 4 other ones.
Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah. But on the subject of getting reference from other sources, while Robert takes a
Booze is a great reference.
Great reference, right.
Yes, please talk, Elise, so I can sleep a bit.
So another way that I use reference at work, for example, is depending on what games I'm creating and what themes I'm attaching to those games, I'll read about, for example, my previous game that I made at work was about riches, basically. It was called Pond of Riches, and I started off with just drawing this, like the money frog, the Chinese money frog that shows up on a moonlit night, something, and when you see it, it's a fortune of
I just see the frog from Love and Monsters.
It's basically that, and he just shows up, and then that's a sign of good fortune coming your way, whether it's money or health or whatever. And I started reading up on all these different animals that had, any sort of connection to wealth and,
Is that the frog? Is that an actual?
Yeah, he's called Jin Chan.
So I'm just trying to,
there's this little golden frog that has this, it has this sort of rope coming out of its mouth and with coins attached to his back, and he's 3-legged and has these diamonds on his back and shit. So it is an actual sort of thing there, a story.
Dude, that's awesome. Let's tie that back to the retro.
Yeah, because I based the game off of that, and I wanted, since I called the game, we decided on the name Pond of Riches, so I wanted to have animals that are in a pond. So I found, a couple, the turtle.
Crocodile.
No, but Chinese animals. And so I had, koi fish, and turtle, and heron.
What's heron?
Heron is hager.
Okay, the bird.
Yeah, the bird.
All right.
So heron is the bird. And these 3 animals were sort of supporting characters in this story. So that's another way to use reference, where you sort of read first. And, and then you find material after, images and stuff to support whatever it is you're going to draw. And that was another way that I did it. So I started with the reading, and then because I started off with drawing the frog as a fun thing. That was actually, I think I had 3 or 4 concepts before the frog. And then we were getting to the deadline where we're going to pitch ideas. And I started, I did my idea. So I was I'm just going to draw a couple of this frog that I wanted to draw, and then I was ooh, this is actually pretty fun. And then I pitched that, and that's the idea they chose out of all the ideas that I actually put time on. Everyone loved the frog.
Everybody loves frogs.
Yeah. So that's another way to do it, though. Reading your way, and then trying to find sort of reference to support that, because I think that will make your idea stronger.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
Because the idea with this episode was to, creating from reference.
Exactly.
And that meaning that you base all your design decisions on, stuff that supports whatever it is you're creating.
Exactly.
And you can see this in movies. If they're going to be in sort of a frozen landscape, they're going to be wearing, clothes of that nature,
Yeah. How do they
They're not going to have
survive
t-shirts,
in the frozen landscape?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think landscape as well. If you know that about whatever it is you're creating, even if the landscape itself isn't in the image, if you have that, they grew up in the desert, then you start looking at, desert people. What are normal things that they do, and what are they wearing? And and you start sort of
different necessities of those people.
Exactly.
And how do they keep on living in that environment?
In that super, exactly.
And then
extreme
you go
environment.
Into what time and age in whatever timeline we're working with. Is it 80s, 90s, 2000s, or future?
Yeah.
And, what's the technology there? And, it just keeps going and going and going.
And it's so much easier for whoever's looking at your story to sort of like get it immediately. So, oh shit, yeah, this is, I think I've seen this in some desert thing. And then you start getting the gist of what you as the storyteller is trying to tell. So,
yeah. And then again, with what you said there, this is something that I've seen. Like,
yeah, but I think recognizability is one of the
It's
best
always
ways
taking something that you know and then making that into your own, or making that better, I guess. It's the better term of it. Because I think the one thing you need to know getting into whatever you're doing is that it's already been done.
Yeah, but I think like the music industry is like a perfect example of like how all these like big musical things, like for thousands of years, you know, like music has always been a necessity, but it's not, you know, like whoever did this thing back in the day isn't still making music that they're selling today. You know, like Spotify, it's just a fad. You know what I mean? It's going to be for a while, and then something else is going to come along.
That's
and, you know,
better.
10, 20 years, that's better. So it's going to keep improving. So definitely, like that's no matter what it is. Like you know, like the tape recorder, VHS, CD, or, you know, LPs, CDs, you know, Blu-rays. It just keeps evolving.
And now we're back to LPs.
And so things will keep getting better and going.
No, but I think it's interesting how that evolves a long time. Like especially with LPs, I think that's such a cool thing to come back.
But I guess LPs is just back because it's cool.
Yeah,
and it has that feeling, you know, like that tactile sort of
such a cool platform to have as well as an artist.
But dude, LPs are sort of like the pencil of, you know, the music industry.
Yeah,
there's like a texture to it. There's a sound to it. There's you know, like it is basically traditional art versus digital.
And it's definitely something that I really, really want to get, like a good LP player.
No, dude, it is such
and collect LPs.
Dude, gaming industry, like a lot of the stuff that, like a lot of games are releasing LPs all the time.
What?
Yeah. There are a lot of like game industry, like, or like game soundtracks that are on LPs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My friend.
So it is like.
Yeah, Dominus from the podcast, he has like both. Like he collects them. He got them at work all the time. He ordered them.
Oh, that's
online.
awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, I love that. But just like that sort of new retro thing.
Yeah, but I guess that's the thing. And I think that brings to mind like Simon Stålenhag.
Yes.
Or Simon Stallenhag, or however you would say that in English. His work, for example, like I think people are relating to his work a lot, but being a Swede, you live his art. You know, you live
deep.
No, but I mean, like you lived his art.
Yeah.
You know, the little things that he adds to his work, that is stuff that we grew up with. That's another great way to use reference.
Yeah, just having like a Volvo 240 in the image. You're just like immediately brought back to the 80s, 90s.
Bamse, you know, like all that shit that's there. Like the ice cream truck, the Swedish ice cream truck.
And
like
it's just
everyone knows what it is,
And he puts it there like it's just a thing in the scenery. But for us...
It is childhood.
It's just emotion. Bam! Right there. Like, it's beautiful.
And that's another way to use reference to sort of emotionally get people to, you know, feel your work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's deliberate. You know it's going to work.
Exactly.
You know? Like, you might not get Simon famous, but you'll get something, you know, out of people. So if you, like, I guess pop cultural references, but sometimes even, you know, normal shit. You know, like a famous shampoo from the 80s or 90s that you used, you know, or whatever the fuck it is. If you add it to an image and you have that demographic, like the people are at your age, they're going to see it, you know. For example, one of the images that I drew, I drew this girl and her father, and she has this like NASA space helmet on, and they're sort of that image. I took the NASA, you know, logo, and I put like 2 dots on it, on the A, and in Swedish that means nose.
NASA.
NASA, exactly. And, you know, the Swedes got it, but it's also, you know, you sort of like, NASA, because there's space, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's the double meaning there.
But it's also for, like, everybody from outside of Sweden that knows that you are Swedish.
Yeah.
knows that is a Swedish thing as well.
Yeah, so
like
there
it
is-
just adds so many. Like it's such a small thing.
It's a small
two
thing, yeah.
dots, but it just adds so many levels of.
Yeah, and all the Swedes were like, ha, 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 like,
Yeah.
because we do get it. Like, it is easy. And
It is
it's
super funny.
And it is a cheap way to get some reaction, because it's something that people will
I
recognize.
totally
or
forgot
it's a
about it.
pun, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's another great way to use reference to sort of like just build an environment or, like get that reaction from people. So I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah.
But do you remember today? Because that's the thing.
No.
Like this episode will, like this discussion will continue over to the retro because we have a lot more to say. We've seen 2 movies today, so we spent almost 4 hours
Yes.
watching stuff.
That's insane, to be honest.
Just for this episode to talk about sort of creating from reference and something that I want to touch upon is when we were watching the second movie today, something that we talked about earlier today happened in this movie, and we were both aliens, So
Yes.
in Aliens, there is a scene where you see this sort of like where they've created their hive. And then, like something that you've been staring at this whole time in the background suddenly just starts moving.
And it becomes
this
totally different thing.
Exactly.
Do you want to dive into that now?
No, just
Should
that
we-
part.
Yeah.
I want that part. And that was used again in this newer movie that we watched that we're going to reveal a little later. Unless we did in the beginning. Who knows? We're
We
drunk.
didn't.
But but just that it's so iconic that because we talked about it just before at the restaurant eating and just discussing today's topic, and then it happens in this movie that we watched. And it's just like you can always take something that you love, and then, add it into your movie. And it'll be a homage to, whatever it is that you look. And without it being a total, rip-off or, like that.
They're not stealing. It's just an homage.
It's an homage, but it's also a good way to tell that. Or like to sort of get that feeling,
But it's
like that creepy feeling.
It's like you can't do that better.
No, I don't
There's
think
no
you
better
can.
way to do it. So this is
What you can do is what you do before and after. That's all you can
Yeah, yeah,
affect.
yeah.
But that thing,
And
you can't just...
With that, I think they did it well.
Yeah. Maybe the
we-
best part of that movie.
Probably, yes.
We'll
We'll
get back to
we'll
that,
we'll
yeah.
get into it. We will get into it. Dude, yeah. I actually don't know what more to say about reference.
No, I would just say, like, the thing with reference is some people can't draw without it. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Don't rely entirely on reference. Like, always use reference if you want to get, What the fuck?
What don't you understand?
Was that my watch?
I think
No.
so.
Okay, fuck it.
Somebody didn't
that
understand
was
what we were
fucking
saying.
creepy, though. That was fucking
I was like,
I don't understand.
I'm just trying to play this off as not being freaked out at all.
That was very cool. Watch or something.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that was super
Yeah.
creepy.
No, that was your phone. Watch.
But I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was my watch.
Yeah.
But I have a female voice on my watch. That was why that was creepy. Cool stuff.
Oh my god.
It's happening. Yeah.
Oh my.
There's like a little Chucky here. I'm your friend to the end.
Yeah.
So 2 drunk guys in a room in darkness.
More booze.
And just drink the scary away. But
Holy shit.
that was so freaky. I don't even remember where we were at.
I don't understand.
I don't understand. I know that part.
Yeah.
I remember that one clearly.
Yeah.
But yeah, relying heavily on reference and not being murdered by a robotic voice. It's just like try to, use reference and then try to recreate that same thing, with the understanding that you sort of have from it.
Exactly.
Don't rely entirely, because sometimes you just can't have reference. Like nowadays, you can basically have it all the time.
Yeah.
but sometimes you just don't want to. You know what I mean? Like, you should be able to create some of your work without reference, you know?
It's not tracing. It's copying. It's looking at something and then reproducing that onto your whatever you are creating. So, not tracing.
Yeah, I guess tracing...
That's a whole different thing. And to be honest, I've been tracing a lot more these days. I rewatched the documentary
with Drew Struzan that we've talked about
so
a
many
lot,
million times. And to be honest, if you haven't seen it and if you can get a hold of it, I recommend it so highly. It is one of the best documentaries for me.
Yeah.
It's just about Drew Struzan and his life. It's called Drew, the Man Behind the Poster. I don't know where you can get it, so try to borrow it from
interwebs.
The interwebs.
A friend on the internet.
Yes. But yeah.
But he drew a lot of our favorite movies. So.
Yeah, he did. And he traced the fuck out of those faces.
But then again,
Then he also used like his own body for different, because he couldn't get the
poses.
Right. He couldn't do all this, so
I think his wife did a lot of his posing as well.
Yeah, and he brought in like neighborhood kids for a different shot.
I remember him doing the one for the
Goonies.
Yeah, the Goonies
with,
on the
having
rope,
everybody like hanging off of each other, all of that stuff.
So good.
That's just Drew Struzan making his fucking magic happen and making an iconic movie
and I think that's something we didn't touch upon either. Making your own reference, being your own reference.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Just
I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, because you can usually...
Because that's what you always have.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. And it's so hard to find reference. Like, I want the arm to be like this, going towards the camera while they're doing, whatever the fuck they're doing. And it's so hard to find, specific reference for what you want. And sometimes you just like, I want that, but the other way around. Yeah. And I don't mean like you just flip the image in Photoshop. I just mean you just want it, a little more, turned, like 30 degrees more to this side or something.
I get that so many times with people wanting my hands in tattoos. Mm-hmm. But they are actually my hands. Like it's just that easy. I just look at my hand holding something and then draw it.
Yeah. But setting up your own reference though is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Because then you can get things. Because sometimes you go on whatever page you're on, and you're like swords. Someone holding a sword, and you get these awkward, stupid poses that aren't doing it for you. They're in the wrong angle. The person holding the sword looks like they've never seen the sword before they got that specific sword into their hands. You can tell, like when a professional is holding a sword and, that looks cool. And then you get, some, I don't know, some Joe Schmo out there. Or me holding a sword, like you just like, they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, or maybe they're just not nailing that exact pose
that you want. Yeah, so just being your own reference.
You go into your broom closet. You get that fucking broom,
and you look.
You set up your camera. You get that 10-second thing, and you try to nail that pose.
Yeah, from your reference.
Yeah, no, but I mean, all of this is very logic.
Yeah,
like this is something that hopefully all of you realize. But if you didn't, you're welcome.
And also it'll help you. Sometimes you just don't know that you can use more than one angle in your art, like
or a broom.
Yeah, but I just mean that the camera. Like if you put the camera low, you can get some really cool effects,
And that is a whole different thing too. Like because most of the time you can't really get the camera angle that you want because you are very limited with where you are at home.
Yeah, and where you can put your camera.
Yes. But so if you do have a friend or a partner, that is the best, absolute best.
Yeah, definitely.
Solution to all of this.
Because I remember doing a portrait that I did for a Wacom contest, I think, where I have my daughter on my shoulders, and that is Maria standing on a chair photographing me.
Holy shit.
Above, yeah.
Oh, dude, I didn't know that was a live reference.
Yeah, that was a live reference.
Cool.
Because that one I did years ago. And I just didn't know how to draw myself from that perspective, looking up. Because I tried drawing it, and I was supposed to look up and then, get my whole body
No,
into
but it's got
perspective.
so much life in that image. Like, it really does sort of feel like a homage to the Goonies, or, Goonies
Without the rope.
poster. Yeah, without all of that.
All of that.
No, but just like in the way you are set up, with her hanging off of you, and then that whole perspective going down.
Going down, yeah.
Like, it's such an that's always one.
That's such an old image.
No, but dude, it is one of my favorites that you've done, because it's got so much personality into it as well, and so much of your, like, the way I see your art. You've evolved a lot since
then, yeah. I
but
don't want
the
to
way,
go back and
whenever I think of your art,
Yeah.
that image is always like, I think, number one that pops into my head, because it blew my head off. Because it was so
different, I guess, from...
different, but also you had put so much time and heart
I don't remember
into it.
Dude, I don't even remember what that thing was that
It
I
had
did
the
it
puzzle
for.
pieces.
The puzzle
it had all of
pieces, the
this.
floating glowing fish.
Yeah, but you could tell that this meant something.
Dude, and I redrew
know?
it twice because
Yeah, exactly.
I did
You
it for the
lost the whole
contest.
thing.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I moved everything from a hard drive or something, and then I killed it. I
Yeah.
thought I had it, and I accidentally threw it away.
Yeah, you tried to explain this to me at some point.
Yeah,
and I was
but then I
like,
got I don't remember.
fuck.
It was one of these, not Imagine FX, but another magazine like it that contacted me and said, like, oh, we would love your work in our thing. Like, we're doing this artist thing, and we would love to have you and a couple of pieces of art in our magazine.
Yeah.
And I was like, yay, I'll send it. And they were like, we need it in this resolution. I was like, not a problem. And the only thing I could find was this little screenshot from I don't know where online. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have this image anymore. So I just blew that up, and I spent, the whole night until 6 a.m. Just redrawing or like repainting over my own work, basically, just trying to get that fuzziness off, that super low quality.
Fantastic.
Yes, there's nothing
Still
like...
came out looking amazing.
No, but we can come back to it because today's topic is going to sort of come back to this.
Yeah, I mean, we've been blabbering all...
Yeah, so let's move on to tools, take a break from the topic, and then come back to it in the thing. So taking a break, and we'll see you on tools.
Toolies!
Tools. No. Okay. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're the drunk one.
I
thought I could get away with it.
I kind of always rely on you to do the
Tulululu. It's Tulululu. Squidderoo.
I do, yeah, those.
All right. Okay, let's dive straight into
two
tools.
tools.
Okay, Robert. Shh. Calm your tits, Robert. So on today's topic.
They're not calm millions.
Oh my God, no. It's so good we're not recording anymore. But on that subject, the only thing that I've done this past week is to try out this, I think it's been almost a year in the making since I found out about it, but it's called Artfol. That's Artfol, a new social media app that reminds you of Instagram but doesn't have likes, it doesn't have like follower count, it doesn't have any of that, and it's mostly to display art and check out other artists, and connect and, stuff like that. So it looks promising. It's not so much fun to use right now.
I've heard of it.
I think
I
I've
don't know.
mentioned it maybe at some point, but yeah, I just noticed that it came out a week ago. I don't know.
Okay.
But I've only used it for a couple of days because I couldn't log in when it came out. But I tried it out. It has some, it's chronological, but it's just like, since I just started out, I don't follow anyone except I think I follow the Megals art. I follow, Chrissa Bug, and, maybe one more person. So my experience on Artful isn't that exciting yet.
Who brought you into it? Who was
No one. I don't know. I just
How
saw
did you find it?
Instagram. Like someone or something posted
But that's
it.
what I meant.
So long ago. I don't remember.
Okay.
It was just, or maybe it was recommended to me, or I don't remember. It was ages ago. And it could be promising. It just looks like Instagram. You have all these images sort of, and they're all chronologically, and you can reshare. So you can share artists, and they'll show up in your feed, and whoever follows you will also see that reshare.
So I'm seeing the feed.
Yeah, so this is the
feed.
feed. Yeah, this is my feed. And I don't follow a lot of people, so it's the same artist.
No, but I mean,
popping up.
it kind of feels like that
It is feed.
type of
Okay,
vibe.
yeah, that is correct. The old app, social media app, feed. Yeah. But again, it's a bit clunky at the moment, but it's to be expected.
But I mean,
it crashes and does a lot of that stuff as well.
If it's a new app, and you get people that are involved in art and wanting to be engaged with each other, it feels perfect.
It feels perfect.
And
I think it's about utilizing the tools out there. You know, again, just see them as tools. The problem is people are investing, and when I say people, us included, invest too much faith in these things.
Yeah.
Like, use them while they work. If they don't work for you anymore, are you doing my thing?
No, but I'm way off.
Yeah.
I only got the 2, 3. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Satisfying. Slow, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like popping popcorn. No, but makes no sense.
I got this. No.
Wow.
No,
So it just sounds like you're doing like fart sounds with your armpit. Ew. Ew. It was just disgusting.
Keep talking about your thing, guys.
But artful, like, it could be a great thing or it could just fall flat and die. I don't know. Like, at this point, I'm having a hard time doing anything on the thing. Like, you post, you get a few likes, you don't care. You know what I mean? I think the likes do have a purpose. The problem is when you just depend on likes, For me, I don't feel a need for this app. But it is like, I like what he's trying to do, the creator, because it's just, I think it's just like 1-2 people working on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel, I don't feel incentivized to use it.
But I think it's for probably...
I hope they
people
do well.
that are sick of the Instagram format.
No, definitely that's what it's for.
Like,
because it's
not
doing
the format, but just the whole
new way of...
Because you are so overly swamped with everything on Instagram.
Yeah.
And if you go into a new app, you will be fresh with your stuff.
Definitely.
So instead of having... 1 billion or 2 billion or 4 billion users, you will have maybe 1 million.
Yeah.
Or less.
No, we'll see. Like I said.
Yeah.
It might be fun for some and not for others. I think it's a bit early right now to tell, but I feel that they're doing everything opposite from Instagram. When it comes to chronological order, like likes, hashtags, even hashtags are very low here. You can add 3.
Oh, really?
It has like tag 1, tag 2, tag 3.
Damn.
So it is, I don't know how it's going to work with a big population, but right now it is what it is. It looks promising. It's a clean design. Still doesn't feel, like it feels more like a website sometimes than an app. You know what I mean? Like it's just... Yeah. Like an app to me...
You're scrolling in a website, a browser.
Yeah, that's what it feels like sometimes. Because for me, an app, you can't break its boundaries, Mm-hmm. Like you can't... But in this app, sometimes you can a bit. Like it's a bit weird. So sometimes it feels like a web page in an app. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a bit weird in that sense. But I guess they're going to sort of be fixing that every now and then.
I mean,
but it's clean though.
That
it is
brand
clean.
new.
Yeah,
then
dude,
obviously
it's
going to be.
Yeah. So Artful, just check it out. See what you think. I think it's on Android and on iOS. So whatever you use, it's there. So try it out. Like at least give it a shot.
Yes.
And with that, we move on to the next segment.
Yeah.
All right. and lasers in. It's retro time with Ilyas and Drunk Robert. Or Drunkerer Robert.
Just
Drunkerer.
let's just call him Robert.
Robert. Okay. Okay, so this week we have so much to talk about.
Oh my God.
Retro-wise.
I don't know how we're going to do this.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like, we should start with the stuff that ties in with whatever we've been talking about, the reference part.
Yeah.
So today we did watch Love and Monsters, now available, finally, motherfuckers, on Netflix.
So happy.
So happy.
So happy.
And to sort of counter that amazing movie, we watched Monster Hunter.
Yes.
And so we watched 2 movies with monsters. And
Exactly.
one does it well, and one does it less well.
Well,
One does it. One does it well, and one just does it.
Exactly. It's like one does it well, and one does it
well.
Yeah.
So starting with Love and Monsters, which was a movie that I saw early this year, or like I didn't see it. I just saw that it was coming. Because it came out last year. I
Exactly.
think.
It was announced really early. Like the trailer came out fairly early. What did they say that it was like in production 2014? Like super duper early.
But we didn't know about it back then. But
No. Anyways, finally it came out on Scandinavian or Swedish Netflix this last week.
Yeah, last week.
And holy shit.
It's it's so worthwhile.
It's such
like they do everything right here. It's basically about this guy. He's with his girlfriend or whatever the fuck they are. They just hooked up. They're really in love. It's like that summer love fling. And then suddenly something happens. I don't want to give too much away, but basically they get separated because this big thing happens, and I guess we said it. Monsters, Love and Monsters, kind of gives it away.
Well,
but
it's not giving it away.
Yeah, but
to
we
be
need
honest.
to spoil some of it. So light spoilers.
Definitely spoiler warning.
Oh, dude,
so
I think we need to. Since we're going to talk about the creatures, we're going to spoil a lot.
and I mean, from now on, we're going to really go into retro mode.
Yeah,
so this is going to be extreme.
Expect spoilers all the time. You've had 2 weeks to watch it since it came out last week, and this is a week later. So when this comes out, it's been 2 weeks.
Exactly. You've had enough time to see this movie. If you have not seen Love and Monsters on Netflix. I was like, is that what it's called? Is it Monsters and Love? No. Love and Monsters on Netflix. Fuck.
We have warned you enough.
I can't talk
to cut
anymore.
that short. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
So basically, this guy falls in love with this girl. They're in the car making out.
But it actually, before that, it starts off with
him explaining
the thing.
Yeah.
And that in itself is beautiful.
Yeah, but for us artists, I think also it's fun.
Yeah,
because of
it's
the
just
drawing.
like perfect.
Yeah.
Exposition telling us that there was an asteroid coming towards Earth, and we as the awesome human race just fucking sent off everything that we had and blew that asteroid into smithereens.
But was it nuclear missiles?
Everything that we had.
Yeah,
it was just like a whole bunch of
they
missiles.
We
blew
that
that fucking
and they said hooray, and then
like,
everything fell back to Earth, the radiation and stuff, and
the
made
smithereens.
Yeah, and made all these creatures, like bugs, ants, everything just got radiated and grew
into
crazy
monsters.
Crazy sizes, and
and then we have Love and Monsters.
So they get separated because of all this, and then he's in a bunker somewhere, and she's in another sort of bunker somewhere else
that we don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And he finds her on these like radios, these old radios, and he just decides to go find her.
Yeah,
and that's
the story.
That's the story. And it's a very Mad Max type of story. The movie is funny. It's charming. It just like the characters that get introduced, like it's good. It's like it's really good, and you want to know more about everything, The story that they had was thin at best, but they did it in such a great way. They're telling this, this story has been told so many times.
Again, Mad Max.
Dude, that show on Netflix with the guy that chops off his own finger, what the fuck is that called? The guy with the samurai sword and the skateboard. You know which one I mean?
Yeah, Daybreak.
Daybreak, exactly. This is the same movie.
Yeah.
Or this is the same type of movie, but without the monsters.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
for sure.
It's just it's not an original story here. It's something that we expected, like Mad Max again.
Deadly Class.
Yeah, Deadly Class.
Same. Yeah.
They're simple stories, but the way that they tell them and the way that they introduce the monsters have weight to them without even knowing what the monsters are. Once they do show up, they carry a lot of weight, and they don't have monsters, just cool monsters coming at you. There's every monster that gets presented in this movie carries weight, which is such a great way to introduce your characters. Because in this other movie that we watched...
Yeah, perfect. I wanted to segue into that. And so what we did just to counter the awesomeness of Love and Monsters on Netflix was we had seen that they just released the Monster Hunter on whatever platform.
Yeah, that famous Capcom game that everyone loves.
Exactly.
That has 9 out of 10.
So so this is another piece of the jewel that was what was his name?
Blah blah something Anderson.
Yeah, W.S. Anderson.
Blah blah blah.
Peter W.S. Something.
Something. The guy
Anderson.
from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, the guy who made the first Mortal Kombat movie. Also,
all the Resident Evil movies.
And also, what's the scary space movie?
Oh shit! Scary.
Event Horizon.
He made
How did
he make Event Horizon?
Exactly.
That's a good movie.
He made that before Mortal Kombat. Yes.
What? I did not know the guy that made Event Horizon made Mortal Kombat.
That is 100% accurate, and I know.
Mind blown.
Yes.
But going back to Monster Hunter, the movie and not the game that got 9 out of 10.
Exactly.
Okay,
so
it's about
same
this,
dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's about Tony Jaa being in a piratey looking ship with Ron Perlman. Stuff happens. Diablo!
In the desert.
Yeah, and then Tony Jaa falls off the boat. The boat kind of... The boat is on sand, by the way, if we didn't mention that.
That was what I meant with the desert.
Hey, and this is not us being drunk. This movie is crazy.
We're trying to explain this in the normal
Tony
way.
Jaa gets the Diablo something. The boat goes away.
Diablo!
Tony Jaa faints in the sand. Cut to some military dudes with Q-Tip, the rapper, and... We didn't know his name.
No.
T-I-T-T-I-T-T-I-T-T-P.
I think.
Whatever his name is. Stupid rap names.
From now on, Q-Tip.
Q-Tip is his rap name, yeah.
For sure. But yeah.
So Q-Tip, Mila Jovovich,
they're in Humvees and vehicles somewhere
in the desert, UN. There's some text popping up you don't care about.
You have no idea where they are.
And then everyone's saying... everyone is saying things, but nothing is... you don't care about the characters. They keep talking. They're like, you killed a lot of flies today. And he's like, yeah, no mercy. Pew, pew, pew. And then he just fists a fly or something. The plot continues. Things get weird. Then a sandstorm appears.
By the way, the fly thing was one of the best things that happened.
That was
in this movie.
The only thing that was,
Just so you know, so you don't spend money on this movie.
And then this big sandstorm with blue lightning happens, and they're like, maybe there's enemies behind the storm, which everyone thinks.
It doesn't look CG at all, by the way.
Yeah, and then suddenly... these rocks that were in the desert with these runes on them start lighting up.
Yeah.
And the storm is catching up.
Yeah.
And they get flipped into the storm thingy.
Tell me more.
And then they get flipped into this other universe. And once they're there, you still get weird sort of flashback cuts to what just happened 2 seconds ago. If you were unclear of the storm, they keep showing flashbacks in Mila Jovovich's head or something. I don't know. And then they break out into song. and they like, we don't know that, blah, blah, you don't care what we will sing. I don't know. And then, they drive into this like color graded desert. So it's basically the same desert, but more CGI.
But more desert.
And a different color desert.
Exactly. And less song.
It's a more
Thankfully.
desaturated desert this time.
Yeah.
Where the bad things live. But they break into song because they're in a good mood after this happened.
That's right.
And suddenly...
It might not have happened in that
who
order.
Who cares?
But
they drive up, they find these bones.
They sing, they dance, and they fly along, and
like they're driving, and then there are these like they're driving, and then they end
rocks.
up. No, but dude, no. When they get to that big skeleton ribs,
Yeah.
The big,
And
they're
by the way,
I didn't see these like from afar because they're ginormous, and we just. They just drive up to these bones and they don't see them until they're like there.
They're driving into like a whale,
basically, and they're like, "Oh wait, look! Whoa! This must have been a dinosaur.
Oh my god,
this is a dinosaur.
Is this like a dinosaur? Yeah, dude, I saw dinosaurs in a museum. This is not like a dinosaur."
Like all the talking, the dialogue in this movie is like, Mortal Kombat is a fucking,
gem.
It's a gem, dude. It's because the dialogue in this one is.
This is like 4 minutes into the movie.
Yeah,
this is seriously. We've not skipped a beat. This is exactly what's happening.
This is frame by frame the movie.
In the movie.
And if you're confused,
we have no idea what the fuck has been happening. We are so confused right now.
We are so confused.
We are still so confused right now.
Dude, the whole movie feels like an extended trailer. But basically everyone gets killed in her team.
I think
she survives. She dies first of all. Or no, first Yeah, who cares?
They all die.
They all
fucking die.
They all die.
Yep.
And then, Mila Jovovich somehow doesn't die after dying. And we don't get an explanation for what happened there.
Of course not.
And so they all leave her before they die. And they run off and die. And then she wakes up.
And then
in the spider's nest.
Exactly. And Q-Tip is still not dead.
Oh, shit. And Q-Tip is
he's not dead.
Yeah,
he's half dead.
But I don't understand, how much time has passed there?
Nobody knows, Elias.
Because
nobody knows.
But he had eggs inside him.
Yep.
Spider.
No, he was a part of eggs.
Yeah.
He was eggs.
He had scrambled eggs all underneath his armpits.
What do you call a Q-tip that's part egg? I don't know.
I don't know.
Q-egg.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's
drunk talk.
Probably.
Why do you call him drunk? Q-tip with eggs.
Us talking about this is making me sober.
Yeah,
so let's
movie.
speed this long.
Okay. So stuff happens. She meets Tony Jaa that fell out of the boat that we talked about. Yeah. Oh yeah.
What was
J-A-A? No,
J-A-A.
J-A-A, or
this
something.
This is Google Chrome.
Google Chrome told us that his name is
J-A-A.
Tony J-A.
Oh, yeah. J-A.
Tony J-A.
Maybe that's what he wanted to, be.
But he falls off the boat in the beginning. Now he gets... No. He helps them from afar. But when he comes up to Mila Jovovich, he puts a knife to her throat. Which makes no sense. So they start this unnecessary fight that goes on
I'm
for
so
too
sorry,
long.
everybody listening.
But this is the actual movie. If you're confused, this is us. We were confused
oh my God.
throughout this movie. And then stupid shit happens. They drink a little water and some chocolate. And Tony Jaa says, chocolate.
Yeah.
And then, a lot of shit happens.
Spiders,
and then suddenly,
big spiders.
After spiders,
more Diablos.
He suddenly has this arsenal because he fell out of a boat, but he has an arsenal of weapons in a cottage
somewhere
on the rock in the middle of the desert with the spider creatures.
Oh, but there's only the rock, by the way. So this is like another The Rock.
This movie's so dumb.
It's just a big rock in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
Dude, and for some reason, they have this training montage where he just opens up this arsenal of weapons that suddenly appeared in his tent that also suddenly appeared.
Yep.
And he has so much weaponry there. I don't know where he got it from, but he has it. I guess from all the ships, maybe. Who cares?
Yeah.
And then, they've used guns and knives and shit, but suddenly Tony Jaa just like hits two swords together and fire. Or like it's very mild
Kratos.
fire. It looks like they're glowing with this energy. But then as the movie progresses, we get no explanation for this. There's also a grappling hook. And then suddenly Ron Perlman joins again. And now all the weapons have fire.
It was in the beginning, by the way.
Yeah. But he was on the boat. And Tony Jaa fell off the boat. Yeah. So now these people are back in this movie. And we still haven't sort of understood anything, but now they're back.
No, we still don't.
And they have like weapons that can shoot fire and shit.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like OP weapons suddenly in this game, and they have a book, and there's this tower, and they go to this tower, and the portal kind of opens up again and throws Mila back to our world after fighting a dragon, which I probably should have mentioned. But this is basically watching this movie is as confusing. Yeah.
No, seriously, what Ilias has been narrating right now, this is the movie. Like straight. We're not like sugarcoating.
We
or
forgot
doing
that they killed Diablo.
Did they?
Who
Did
cares?
they really?
I don't know.
They shot an arrow at him.
Yeah, but she
Did
blew
they really
him.
kill him?
I don't know. Fuck it. We thought there were several Diablos. They weren't. There was one in the desert. But they get to the tower, fight the dragon. The portal opens when she falls off a cliff or jumps off a cliff. Who cares? Fire. She falls into normal world. They find her. You see this like shape of a flying dragon, but is it? No, it's a chopper, like
It's a
Robert
chopper.
predicted,
Yes.
or like everything that we predicted
Pretty
about
much.
this movie.
Yes. Well, like
Everything happened that we predicted.
yeah, we predicted more or less.
Maybe we wrote this movie.
I think we did.
Because I think I must have written this.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it is.
We were saying everything before it happened in this
Yeah.
entire movie.
Yeah.
Which is, well, I mean, thankfully we have alcohol.
Dude.
And, you can hear on my voice right now.
Maybe we get psychic when we drink, because this movie was fucking bananas. Dude.
Oh, my God.
So
But yeah,
she
so
falls
then-
into the normal world.
Yeah,
like
she's
chopper
back.
shit, dragons come.
They're
Tony
like,
Jaa appears
We've
again.
been looking for you forever. Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. And then the swords are even more OP now.
Yeah.
And then there's end credit scenes that you don't give a shit about, and then the movie ends, and
Yeah.
you don't understand
No.
anything. So start to finish. Oh, did I mention there's monsters in this movie?
Somewhere. I
And
think
that's why we watched it. Their
So yeah.
princess.
So first off the bat, do not pay money for this movie.
Yeah, we paid 49 crowns. It feels like a waste.
That's so much more money than it deserves.
And this movie got, 5 out of 10 rating
If
somewhere.
Love and Monsters would have been available to purchase, we would have paid that money.
I would have paid for it. Yeah.
We would have paid a lot more than
Unfortunately, that was the
49
movie
crowns.
that was free.
It does not make any sense.
No.
No. All right.
I could have paid
With that
twice for
said-
that one.
With that fucking said.
Yeah.
All right. Holy shit. The difference between these two movies, it's night and day.
Yeah, they don't establish anything in the second one.
No. Like the Love and Monsters to me, like straight off the bat is almost perfect in the way it's
definitely.
made. It's a coming of age type of movie. It's got great monsters that you don't really get to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's just mysterious and dark, and it leaves a lot to the imagination. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
makes it even more scary. And
when they do show them, though,
yeah,
they have layers to them.
exactly. And it's like,
Yeah.
are they evil? Are they not? They're just animals.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
animals turn into big beasts.
I think that is what makes it scary as well. It's that, like bugs are disgusting in their small form.
Yeah,
Making them giant is terrifying.
exactly.
Like, it is disgusting.
Are they all super bad though? We
don't
know.
know.
We don't know. That's the coolest thing, and they establish so much in the beginning part of the movie with that funny sort of illustrated exposition part.
Exposition, yeah.
Whereas in
Narration, exposition.
yeah,
Done great.
Narration.
Narration.
Yeah, don't
Because
let me
you're
say
drunk.
that when I'm drunk. But then the second part, going into Monster Hunters, is it Hunters or Hunter?
Hunter. Monster
Hunter.
Hunter.
Just like, don't watch it.
Yeah, dude.
That
First 10 seconds, you get the monster, the big one, shown somewhat, and then
kind of.
but it's fairly early on that you get the whole monster, and it's chasing them
Yeah.
everywhere, you know, and it's full monster.
And
It's
it
not
never
based on anything.
And it never feels like really.
No, it doesn't feel menacing in the way that just the first sort of, like in Love and Monsters, there's this ant that breaches the colony. You don't even get to see that much of it.
No.
But it is disgustingly
They
terrifying.
make it perfect.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, like.
And the build-up
Exactly.
to it.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think
thing.
that
There's
is
a
the
build-up
thing.
to it. In this movie, in Monster Hunter World, you see a ship. You know, this
Yeah.
weird sand ship that's actually traveling on sand like it was water.
So straight off the bat, you're like, this is not believable.
yeah.
You don't believe any of this.
We
And
try.
you have. Well, actually, in that first scene, there's multiple Diablos.
Dude,
Like,
there are
attacking
so
from
many Diablos that I
different-
thought there was like, you know, it was just full
2
of
or
them.
3 or 4,
Yeah.
whatever. So you're like, okay, so this is how this starts. How is this going to evolve? But
They
you
start too
don't
big.
get-
They start too big.
There's no
too-
payoff.
No.
There's nothing. There's nothing
no,
to
no.
any of this.
No.
Whereas in going back
Not
to...
even the monsters get, you know, like
No.
the dragon doesn't feel bigger than the Diablo. It just feels
you
like this-
don't get like an explanation to any of those monsters.
Yeah.
You don't get any sort of
Oh,
grounded.
but they had a book, Robert. They had a book.
Of course,
That
but
they
they
look-
never read anything from the book, and they never told us anything from the
They
book.
did.
Oh, they
but-
did. No, they showed
they-
us like the head of the dragon at the very
But the
end.
tower, Robert.
So it's
and
like,
the ancient
oh.
ones and the nonsense, and then cut to the end
No, I was drinking beer. Elias.
that very
I was
time.
drinking a lot of beer
to get through that book.
at that stage to make it through. Whereas Love and Monsters, it progressed perfectly. It was just like it
You know-
started with something that was still like you have radiation on everything that you know now and today that
Yeah.
is disgusting and
And
that
terrifying.
you think
yeah.
is terrifying.
But most people are afraid of a lot of bugs. you know.
Imagine that getting
their small form.
radioactive and becoming gigantic.
Yeah, but dude, the first introduction where they're like, dude, you just get scared. He's like, aren't you guys scared? Yeah, but you get like really
Exactly.
scared. Like
Yeah.
paralyzing
And
fear.
immediately you just sympathize with the character.
Yeah, and I love how he runs out, you know, like
And he's like,
over-
I'm going to prove myself.
Yeah.
And then like, nope.
runs out and then freezes, and you know,
And
and,
you
he does
that
it so
scene,
well. Yeah,
that
that is
scene.
one of my favorite scenes where he kind of freezes and his eyes are starting to tear up.
Yeah.
and he's terrified.
Like you can really feel it.
Yeah. If you've ever been scared of something to the point where you can't move, he does that well in this movie. Like, and it's this like, oh man, that scene is so good.
Yeah.
You basically don't even see the monster. You know,
No, it's a silhouette.
It's a
just-
silhouette,
It's
yeah.
behind like a curtain or
Yeah.
something. It's so like it's so perfectly made, and he's just standing there, and he's like he's
Yeah, and he
going
has a
like
crossbow, yeah.
He's going like cross-eyed, almost like his.
Yeah, but
he
it's
can't
reach.
focus,
But didn't he?
and he's just standing
It touches
there.
his hair, right?
Yeah.
With the
Yeah,
tentacles.
no, he would be dead
Yeah,
if he
oh,
didn't
man.
freeze, which is the cool thing about it.
Yeah,
Like,
and then the stuff that follows as well, like his reaction,
Yeah.
like did I shoot it or did you? You know,
Yeah.
like it's just such a great way to like introduce him to
Yeah.
the dangerous world, or us basically.
yeah, more or
To
less.
this, yeah, it is such a, and every monster that we get to face in this movie, like there is exposition done in a good way that explains what's gonna come or why things are the way they are. And you know, once
Or
he
why the people are where they
Yeah,
are
where
in
they
the
are, yeah.
story. Everything has its place. It's so like perfectly lined up. You know that protagonist A is going to protagonist B. Like, you know that is the whole
And the relationship
purpose.
between
Exactly.
people. Yeah.
And you get to see that throughout. And you know and it builds, and the more you watch the movie, it gets more and more clear, and it's really like, but it's also, you get a deeper story that is sort of behind all of that you really want to see, but it's just hinted towards. Like, it's all of this. And it's so simple. It's so simple, really. Perfect storytelling. But then in between all of that, you do have these gigantic monsters and monster hunters, kind of.
But it's a feel-good movie. That's the
definitely,
weird thing.
Definitely.
Because that's why the ending is a bit of a, I guess. Like
upper.
Yeah, exactly. They deliberately made it like it ended nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not about killing and, hard time. Like, there's another lesson there, and a feeling that they're going for, but they're telling that story with monsters, basically.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. I can't think of any feel-good movies right now where you watch it, beginning to end, and it's all just like, oh, it was a bit hard, but it got good. Like, there's a good vibe to it. Like, I can't
Goonies. I guess.
Yeah, but Goonies is a bit different. Like,
because
it is.
Goonies is pretty dark.
It's dark,
times.
dude. It's dark.
Yeah.
Goonies is way darker, and that was aimed for children.
Yeah, I know.
But this one is, I don't know. Like, it's just feel good, and they pull it off well. Like, I think they start the whole thing with a death as well. Just to show you that people will die. But.
Yeah.
I don't know, like every time you meet a monster in this one, the CGI in both these movies is good. I think Monster Hunter is where they sometimes fail entirely. Yeah. And then at some other times it's really good, Yeah. But the problem there is more the storytelling and the establishing of characters and monsters. Because in that one, even the spiders don't feel that scary,
No. It's too much.
It's just too much of everything.
Yeah.
Whereas if you ever watched Mandalorian, where they meet the spiders, that is terrifying when the eggs start hatching and they have to sort of get going.
They gotta fucking go, and you just feel everything is crawling around you.
Yeah.
Like you're
I think
just
that was
into
actually
it.
the only something they should have played off more when she comes out of the hole the first time from the spiders. Like that creepy crawly on your body type of, they should have played more on that because, that is a thing. That is a feeling that everyone can relate to.
Oh my God,
like walking through spider web or something, or feel something crawling on you, or, you brush on a tree and you have ants on your arm. Like, you do not take that in stride, or most don't. I don't really care.
I have spider stories.
Yeah.
I'll get to that at one point, probably, but yeah.
But I think if you can tie, like, here again with the reference, if you can tie it into an emotion that we all share, that's an easy way to get people on board with whatever the fuck you're selling in your movie. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And Monster Hunter does, like, it almost never takes that into account. It's just like, they're cool people with armor and weapons, and just there's
like Army Ranger, and like I have all of this, and I'm like never ever afraid of everything.
Dude, first sentence that those army guys, they're like, we're men that talk, and we have things to say, and she's a woman, and she's a boss, and everyone's talking like idiots, like it's just stupid. Like the whole movie is just stupid.
It's so stupid.
It's so stupid. And then just things happen, and you're like, I didn't think this could get stupider. No. And then Ron Perlman is Goku from Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
But also...
Old Goku.
Old Goku with the old lady's hairdo. Because, oh, man. Who did you say he looked like? You also said something.
I said something. I don't know what I said.
What the fuck? That was a few years ago.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this... like, Monster Hunter were... just Monster Hunter, yeah.
Yeah,
Monster Hunter World was the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just such a hard movie to like. Like,
yeah,
the effects.
We tried.
Yeah, we tried.
Even alcohol didn't help.
But dude, we're really good at following movies, but this movie starts off with nonsense, and everyone's like, they're trying to write this dialogue that is like banter-ish, but it just comes off as nonsense.
There's nothing.
There is really nothing.
No. like when they thought that they had given like exposition, we were still sitting there like, what the fuck is going on?
What the fuck? Who are we supposed to care about?
What? So where are they?
Yeah.
What happened? Where were they? Like, we don't know where they came from.
Oh, but
we don't know their bond. We don't know anything about any character.
Yeah, there's
in
nothing.
the entire movie.
But they, at least in the beginning, they did establish that she had her wedding ring, or a ring, a silver ring.
And that was important, like, in maybe the first half of the first part of the movie.
They showed it twice, and then
she went for, like, grabbed it, and it's like, oh, I'm so happy I
still have this
box of my old wedding ring.
Yeah, because she took off her ring, put it in there, put it in her pocket, and then after the spider thing, she sees it on the ground, and she picks it up.
Oh, I almost lost it.
Yeah, and then
and that was the last.
And we don't get to know anything about that either. Like,
we didn't know anything about it before that happened,
or after.
Yeah. We don't know anything about any of the characters. Yeah. Seriously. There's no backstory of any of the characters that we ever saw in this movie.
When Tony Jaa falls off the boat.
Yeah.
For how long was he out there in the desert? Because he had a fucking tent there.
Yes.
With so much weapons and stuff in that trunk or whatever. Like, where did he get all this? Did he live there for years?
No. That was before he fell off the boat, Elias.
Yeah.
It was a prequel. We saw a prequel.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Like, that movie makes no sense. The monsters, you're not scared of them because they're not based off of anything.
And they never pose a threat.
Although they're attacking all the time.
They're
you just don't
they
care.
just killed Mila Jovovich. But she survived, and now she's better than ever. So it's like, okay.
Dude, it just fucking stabbed
That's how it
her.
starts.
Because they run away from the Diablo, and then they're like in this cave. Like, what the hell was that thing?
And then they entered like the spider's nest.
And then she gets stabby.
But that's where the cool thing happened, which is sort of the only cool thing that happened.
And that's the thing from Alien.
Yeah. Soul.
Like, think about this. One day, someone will go back and check my bank statements, and they'll be like, everything looks normal,
like,
but why this movie?
Guys, look at this! You fucking paid for it! Oh my god! Yeah,
paid way too much for this movie.
That's what they're gonna say.
I'm gonna call the bank on Monday and like, can you remove this? Like,
please,
I'll pay you to
erase this from
all
my statement.
All traces of this movie. No, but it was just such a... Like, they don't establish... Like, if they only established her at least. But they didn't even do that.
Just a smidge of fucking backstory.
Or, like...
Give us something to, like... Oh, dude, I need to feel for this person.
Or just like when she got killed.
Exactly.
Why did she come back? Like, was it just sedative? Like, was it... Like, establish it. Like, tell us...
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
No, why not?
Like,
they don't even.
No. I want to punch something. I am so angry from watching this movie.
Yeah,
alcohol did not make this better.
The best thing is you didn't even like it drunk. That's the thing. You know, like, Love and
because
Monsters
that was
got through
the thing.
sober.
When we decided, like, oh, yeah, let's fucking watch this. That'll be a cool sort of contrary or contrast.
Or like,
to
just
this
let's
movie.
see how they like. The idea was to see how they're gonna introduce monsters and sort of establish them in this movie
because they're
what
both
they're gonna
monster
be based.
movies.
Yeah.
So it's like it was such a natural thing, and they're both
and
kind
we're both
new.
super excited.
Yeah. And we'd both had like a few drinks, and we're like, "Fuck yeah, that's awesome!"
Yeah, let's do it now because we talked about seeing it next week.
Exactly.
And like, no, let's do it now, and then we'll compare them, and they're opposites.
Because I think Monster Hunter would never work if we were sober. Like, it felt
we laughed a lot. Dude.
Yeah, we did.
We did
way
laugh,
too much.
and we
my throat is sore. Like I've been laughing way too much.
Oh my god! But nothing made sense. Like as soon as we were like, "Oh, it's this," and then like, "Oh shit, no, it's not that.
No,
it's not that. It's not that."
And then,
how could we predict the movie?
I was just
but
gonna
it's just nonsense.
I was just gonna say
it's like they just like, oh, you know, when this happens in movies, then that happens. That's this movie.
So it was just like something extremely nonsensical happened and we were laughing like crazy. And then one of us would say, oh, but yeah, now Ron Perlman's going to come back. And then like, boop,
suddenly he just came
He's
back.
like,
Same
"Ugh."
thing with like
Yeah.
at the end. You were like, and then Tony Jaa comes in, and then suddenly he's
Like,
just there
Tony
with
Jaa.
the fucking and the same thing with that when she's on the chopper, and then we're like, and what happens then? And then suddenly the dragon's back and shit. You're like,
yeah. well,
yes,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So yeah,
Like,
that's how fantastic this movie was.
no, but it's really, really important to, because and the cool thing about like Love and Monsters is that, you know, every monster that gets introduced, like when he fights the centipede thing,
yeah,
like they cut it back to sort of like when his parents die.
reference it to.
Yeah, and, like it's such a good way, and then you kind of understand why he gets sort of paralyzed with fear.
And
again.
that's been building up the whole time.
But they do it all the time.
No, but that's a cool
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
because
that's what I
you've always, because you even asked me during the movie,
Yeah.
like, did we ever get to know what happened to his parents?
Yeah, that was earlier on. Yeah.
So it's like we've always that's been in our heads. Like,
Mhm.
what did happen to his parents? What happened to his parents?
Yeah.
And then finally, that's a payoff.
Yeah.
And then you realize that he was fucking traumatized
Mm-hmm.
having his parents slaughtered right in front of him.
Squashed like
Squashed. Exactly. And it's such a nice way to put it instead of just going like, pop, dead,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then he needs to take
Oh
care of
shit!
himself.
And if you don't like monster movies, see it only for the dog.
Oh my God.
That dog. Yeah.
I need to get that,
that dog needed more screen time.
I need a dog.
Yeah, that dog was amazing.
So cute.
Yeah,
Boy.
boy.
Oh.
Aw. I was like, nobody better do anything to that
Yeah,
dog.
don't fucking
motherfuckers.
touch
Yeah,
the dog.
Don't touch the dog.
Don't touch the dog. Yeah.
Yeah, even the dog had more personality than anything
anything.
that blah blah W.S. Anderson dude has done.
Yeah. I think it's Paul.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
shit.
Like, seriously, so much more personality
But
than
dude,
any
even the-
character in
But the
Monster
dog
Hunter.
got more of an introduction, you know, like
Yeah.
like he had the bus with the dress and the toys and the things, you know, like it had so
Everything.
much there.
Everything. And you had, like,
And
if
they
you
didn't
were
even say
paying
it out loud.
attention.
Yeah, and they
If you
didn't
were
even say
paying
it.
attention, you could see it.
Yeah.
And you would just realize that, holy shit, like, there's
Mm-hmm.
a person taking care of this dog that died. And
Yeah.
this dog is now, like, mourning.
Yeah.
this person
Oh, that was
passing.
beautiful though.
And
That
it-
was beautiful.
Like,
yeah.
it's, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
It was so good. Like everyone in this movie has lost someone.
yeah.
That's the thing like that everyone has in common.
Yeah.
And so no one's like, because when he meets this other dude, you know, and that little girl, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss," and he's like, "You don't have anything to be sorry for. We
Michael
all share,
Rooker.
yeah, like we all share this. Like this is we all have stories like this or something like that."
And he's like, Mary Poppins, y'all. But yeah, exactly. But even that, like,
Yeah.
I think I was grabbing another beer when that happened, but at the exact
when you
moment
missed
when,
that whole thing, yeah,
when
the
they were
exchange.
saying that
who they lost, yeah.
exactly, like, but it's so thankfully we watched that
Mm.
afterwards so I could see it, but it's so perfect, and it's just like these people coming together in their loss
Mm-hmm.
and just finding each other in that way, and it's so well written and
It goes a
easy.
little crazy at the end with the crab and all,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
but
I mean,
it
but
kind of
that-
is fun. But it's like it was enjoyable. It didn't break the movie, and it does a couple of like it's
I mean that didn't have to happen.
no, it
You
didn't
could
have
cut
to.
that out
Yeah,
and then just
definitely.
have the guy go back.
He could have gone back with all of them,
And
for
that
example.
would still be a great movie.
yeah.
The crab thing was just like an extra added tidbit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But I kind of liked that not all monsters were evil and
Yeah,
that whole thing as well. Like
exactly.
they were just creatures, basically, But it's such a nice movie, and since there are bugs, it's nice that they managed to sort of tie it into something that we all recognize and hate.
But yeah,
But even the fucking snails, man, they were terrifying.
yeah,
And they were
and they were the nice guys.
They were the nice
Yeah.
ones. Yeah.
But that's the cool thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, but like, you need to watch Love and Monsters.
And then you need to watch Monster Nudge.
No, and just
No.
rewatch Love and
Just
Monsters.
watch that one twice.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd be doing yourself a favor. If you
Ship.
can get, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
If you can get a hold of Monster Hunter, Hunter, Monster Hunter for free, watch it, but bring
A friend and
so many
much.
beers.
Yeah.
Like,
And every time
seriously.
you don't understand, drink.
Yeah, or just keep drinking throughout the whole thing,
But
which
dude,
is
do
pretty
you know-
much the same
Do
thing.
you know how many sort of times during that movie I was looking and like listening and then like I have no idea where this is going. Like I
Yes.
just spaced out. I
Yes,
was
I do.
listening, but I didn't like nothing was sticking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if I did not have the beers, I would have walked out.
But dude, when we watched Love and Monsters, I was like I remembered
was in.
everything.
I was
but,
in there.
But I remembered everything they said. But thinking back to Monster Hunter, I'm just like, okay, they're
Like-
saying words and they're driving and words are happening still
spiders,
and
kind of.
but it was just like not understanding the language but knowing the word. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I just
No,
like,
there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing.
And
And
dude,
now
I've
trying
seen
to
bad
think
movies
back,
before, but I've
trying
seen bad
to think
movies
back,
before.
there's nothing. Like, I don't remember a single line from the
Dude,
entire
I don't
movie.
know either. I don't know.
Like,
The
I don't even.
flies.
Yeah, what was it?
Something about
15 flies
Yeah,
today.
15
15
fly-
casualties.
Yeah, 15 casualties.
That was the best thing.
And then he punches like his thigh or some shit
Exactly.
because he's killing a
Because-
fly with his fist. I
But
don't know.
he killed the flies with the flies water.
Yeah, but then he punches.
But then he punches them.
I don't understand.
Because just to make sure,
Dude.
double tap.
I don't know what
I don't
the
know.
fuck happened. It's
Please
just-
do not watch Monster
we didn't
Hunter.
even have time to talk about Invincible or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Let's dive into that super quick.
It was really good.
Yeah. Invincible.
It was super dark as usual.
super dark. I think the
But
episode in
It's a
itself.
very contained. It's more Homecoming.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not like the most exciting episode.
No, it isn't. It isn't.
because
but-
it doesn't really involve all of the other characters apart from Eve and
Mhm.
all of that. But it's very like you get Mark, like Invincible himself, really like I want to get out of this. This is what I want. I want to be like.
Oh yeah,
in
shit!
this
He got smashed in
contained-
the previous episode, and now he's
Exactly.
back. Yeah,
And now it's like getting this.
but it doesn't
sort of-
feel entirely healed like it didn't in this episode.
No,
I don't know,
it felt
but they didn't.
super rushed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, all
that
of a
part,
sudden,
that
it was
arc.
just like, it was, what was it, 6 or 7 days that he was
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
in coma or
Mhm.
whatever when he woke up. Then I don't know how long it was after that he
when
went
they
to
went
the
to this
thing.
new high school, yeah, or college.
But I really love that we got like a little bit more of a deep dive into William, his best friend, who is the gay guy,
Mhm.
and his sort of boyfriend-ish or not
or
boyfriend.
fling. I don't know
Yeah,
what to call
that,
him. Like a
like,
friend.
They were in
fling,
love,
yeah.
at
They were-
least. Like, and it was so
Oh, they had a summer. That was it.
exactly.
They
like,
had a summer, like together,
year
and
before,
then yeah,
whatever.
and now they were gonna meet up again. Yeah,
it was super cute. Like it just
No, it was
just
great.
So
But so
nice.
dark.
Yes, so dark. And then having Domino come with him, whatever. What Allison is
Amber.
Amber, fuck. Who plays the voice of Amber
Yeah.
as Domino in Deadpool 2,
Mm.
and that blew my mind when I saw that. It was so cool. And the voice of what's her name? Adam Eve is the blonde chick from Community.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So like I just started watching a lot of interviews with
Mhm.
all of these people, and it blew my mind. Like the voice talent in this show is off the chain. So cool.
Now I can't unhear it. Yeah,
No.
yeah, it is true.
It's so like
Gertrude.
there you go. Yeah,
Gertie.
so good.
I don't know what her real name is.
And the bad guy's name in this the bad guy in this episode is played by Ezra Miller, the guy who plays the Flash in the Justice League, just super dark. Like, it ruined me the day I saw it. I was like crushed the whole day. I wrote you even writing it. Like, it just felt like it put me off the whole day. There was something about the episode that just felt wrong in a way. Like, it felt so, I guess, unnecessary for William to be that hurt and that whole thing. But, you know, all in all, again, just Invincible delivering this fantastic episode. It's such a great show.
It is a really good show, yeah.
I mean, that's all I can say.
But I hate waiting, but I so want to know where it's going.
Yeah.
Because right now this is like a filler episode. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really part of the big story.
But still scratching those bigger stories.
Yep.
Like, really getting...
Oh, dude, with the mom and the dad.
Knowing that...
Dad's a psychopath, I guess.
He definitely killed them now.
Yeah.
Like, she knows that.
That is confirmed.
And then, like, with the whole dressmaker dude, like the outfit dude.
Yeah. What the fuck happened there?
Exactly.
Like, after the beers. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully he's still alive. Like, man.
Yeah.
This is
I'm so curious to hear more
show.
About the Voltrumites, because it feels like they are not a good race.
Exactly.
They're not there to help the world.
Is he like the one-off, or
are they all just...
Yeah.
Because it feels like they're all crazy. I don't think they're like this.
No, I'm pretty sure they're all fucked.
Mm-hmm. I think they have this like codex of like when you grow of age, you're going to sort of dominate a planet.
And this is going to be your planet. You're going to be God.
I think that's it, more like some type of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. And then Falcon Winter Soldier, again, just delivering.
Well,
man.
Sorry. The start on that episode is heavy.
So heavy and awesome.
I
loved how they really reconnected I guess Falcon and the Winter Soldier towards the end of the episode, and now, they're really working together, and you know, all of this stuff, even the flirting with Bucky and the sister, like Sarah, that was such a just a small little thing.
They didn't really do anything with that except those 2 times where they just
and it's
talk.
Like, don't flirt with my sister. It's perfect, you know, it's just perfect. But again, like I said, that it's very much like racism is the bad guy, you know? Like, it gets even more forced in with this episode.
I don't really, I get it, but I don't see the problem with it. No. For me, that it works.
And that is...
And I like that they kind of reintroduced that character.
We are Paleys, so, like, we don't get it, and it's not in our faces as much.
Yeah.
And for me, it's still, like, an amazing show. I love it so much. But I also can understand why so many people, like, in the States, really go, like, well, dude, I've had enough of this. Like, I don't want to see more of this. Give me just something that take me away from all of this shit.
From this reality stuff, yeah.
So I get that, but
I'm wondering who's complaining. Is it Paleys or is it, people that actually matter?
It's not complaining, it's not watching.
Okay.
They're not watching it.
But that's not what I've heard. But yeah, I'll look into that as well, because I don't know.
But no, to me it's amazing. It just keeps on delivering week after week. It's just...
No, I really like it. And I think what I told you as well with the shield flinging.
The training montage.
Like,
I mean, a training montage in general is just gonna fucking get to me, because that is.
But 80s, dude, they did have that in Monster Hunter as well.
Yes,
and it didn't work.
Yeah, but it kind of did. No, it did. Now we were drinking.
No,
For me, it worked.
It didn't
It worked.
work. Like they were just doing these like
It was getting
terrible
better.
katas, and then like suddenly, oh, by the way, all weapons are magical. We haven't established any type of magic.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you meant Love and
Love and
Monsters.
Monsters.
Yeah.
No,
Love and
no.
Monsters had a training
Great
montage,
training. That was great.
and that was good.
Yeah, that's not,
sorry.
that wasn't the same. Yeah, Monster Hunter training montage.
Yeah, that sucked. Well,
That sucked.
there was nothing good about that one.
There's nothing.
There was nothing good. Yeah.
But yeah, and that's what I said. Like when he threw the shield, like Marvel in that scene, like you just accept that the shield can bounce perfectly off of anything because vibranium
of
vibrates
course,
perfectly.
vibranium.
I don't know.
That's what it does.
That's what it does.
yeah, it's a
logic.
bouncy metal.
But the thing is, Marvel always manages to just balance that line between this could fucking break this show and awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But DC always feels like they just start at the wrong end of things and then just, we're going to ramp it up to 1,000, and then they just like...
Yeah, they start at 11.
Yeah, exactly. On the wrong side of the scale somehow. And then they just keep going.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, you've already sort of broken the illusion. Why do you keep going, right or whatever the fuck you're doing? Like, why do you keep doing that? Like, every time.
Yeah.
Usually you make something crazy and then you pull it back a bit to just, like, make it believable. No.
Nah.
But that's why I loved Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Like, they have these, I don't know. It's a fun show.
And it's also interesting to see the backlash of the new Captain America, or
he crazy.
Cunt Cap,
Mhm,
as we
Cunt Cap,
named him
yeah.
last episode.
Hey, Cap.
Captain Cunt. Was it Captain Cunt?
I don't even remember.
I think it was Captain Cunt.
Captain Cunt.
Captain Cunt, but just like the cereal.
Yes, the cereal. Captain Cunt. Captain Cunty.
Yeah.
Crunchy. I don't know.
Captain Cunt. Really interesting to see like the development of his character after what happened in the previous episode. Him having to go to the parents of his best friend,
Mhm.
having to lie to them and say that it was the guy, the killer.
Mhm.
I
That
killed.
was fucking heart wrenching.
And you're like, why?
'Cause-
Why
yeah.
did you like? That's not going to be a good thing.
I had one thing about this episode that I didn't like,
That you missed the after credit scene.
except that I hate when they do that. Like, you should just have that. Like, you shouldn't add an end credit scene on the 4th episode or whatever the fuck this was.
Mm-hmm.
But what I hated about this episode was Elaine. Elaine had nothing to do in this movie from Seinfeld. She had nothing to do in this show. Because she was the same
introduced-
character. She was the same character that she was in Seinfeld.
Yeah,
No thanks.
I'd already forgotten
Hard pass.
about it.
Hard
Yeah.
pass. No, I just remembered it when you started talking about that.
Yeah,
I was like, why was Elaine there? That wasn't like another character. That was Elaine.
the shitty thing is that I recognize her name. I know the name, like
It's
from
Elaine.
comics.
Yeah.
From comics,
Aha.
I really
shit. I
know
have
the name.
No idea. I don't remember. her
I
name.
didn't look it up, and I haven't seen anything from
What
YouTube.
was her name? Do you remember?
That's the thing.
Oh,
I
okay,
don't
okay, you don't.
right now.
Elaine from Seinfeld. That's her
exactly.
name.
Yeah. No, but there's Incognessa something. I don't know what it is, but it's something about the name, and it really rings a bell. So I know that it is a character from the books. I've heard it somewhere, seen it somewhere.
When you say books, it sounds so much better than comics.
I know. That's why I keep
You know
saying
the
it.
books. I've read all the Marvel books.
But yeah, so I know that she has like a bigger role to fill in whatever is coming. So she's probably going to be brought back.
She's like, tell him, Jerry.
Because what do we have? Like one episode left of this show?
Yeah, what the fuck was that? The fuck?
So they can't introduce a character
Because this was the fifth,
in the
right?
second
Yeah.
last episode of a show.
Wait, which
that.
one is ahead? Is it Invincible or...
Invincible is episode 6, and
So
this
this
is
is 5.
episode 5.
Okay, yeah,
I
that is
guess.
correct. Yeah, that is correct. Because last time I said something else, and you said 4 on Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
correct, yes.
I mean, we're always behind on this show.
Mentally and on the episodes that we're talking about.
Yeah. And with that said, I think we need to go home and fucking sleep.
And sleep, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for joining again. Find us on Discord, Instagram, Sketchbook Heroes.
Yes. And
Or-
watch all the movies that we talk about,
Yeah.
but mostly just watch them when you're drunk. Otherwise, they won't be fun.
Except Love and Monsters.
Yeah,
it
except
kind of
that.
worked sober.
Yeah.
Or it did work sober.
Yeah, it just always works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have fun. Have a blast.
Have fun, have fun.
Have fun.
Goodbye.
Have fuck, and have fuck.
The worst.
Yeah, the worst. Have all of that.
Have the worst.
Have the worst.